Oh, I want to watch that. That's a cartoon.
I know. I'm going to try it, I think.
You dick.
Everybody says it's great, and I love the guys that created it.
Now we have proof. That's the key. We have proof that you will watch cartoons. And
he's watching a cartoon that we aren't forcing upon him.
Right.
I feel cheated.
Try it. And I'm going to try it because Lainey told me it was good.
Oh, I see how it is.
I haven't even seen it yet.
Neither have I.
Lainey has never steered me wrong.
I see what's happening. Why don't you go have a podcast with Lainey?
Yeah, this is now the start of the show. That's just what's happening.
Wait, I had a Dustin, you watched Schmigadoon, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember how the corn pudding song went?
No.
God damn it. Would you be willing to make up
I remember the corn pudding song.
Would you be willing to make up a song about corn pudding and pretend it's from Schmigadoon? Would you be willing to sing about corn pudding?
Corn pudding. It's very, very tasty. Corn pudding. I don't know.
It was something like da corn pudding. I don't know. It was very, I don't know. It's very Oklahoma-y.
Yeah, right? I thought it was like songs. corn pudding, but I also remember trying to turn it into familiar. Like a metal song.
That sounded familiar. Have you guys seen Brigadoon?
No.
No, I haven't either, but I guess if you've seen Brigadoon, maybe these songs sound familiar.
Okay. It just sounded very Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Yeah.
Did Rodgers and Hammerstein do Brigadoon?
I bet they did.
Probably.
Nope, they did not.
Oh.
Who did Brigadoon?
Alan J. Lerner and Frederick Lowe.
Oh, okay.
Well, because the opening song was very like Oklahoma, like
yeah.
Yes.
That was clearly which I'm almost certain is them.
Well, I told Lily that we should watch it as a family because I thought it was cute and that kind of show, and she was like, "Oh, we can watch Brigadoon first," and I said no.
Way to be such a Keegan.
I don't like the music. I like the sort of the fish out of water part.
Yeah.
And Keegan's reactions are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know.
We're gonna get into it.
Well, we're into it. Hasn't the show
Are we into
started?
It? Oh, has the show started? All right. Well, we're just talking Schmigadoon now. Sure.
Schmigadoon. We were going to talk about it anyway, weren't we?
We were, but now, okay. Well, I'll figure it out. TBD. All right, hang on. Let me just say the intro, just so we get it in. So we don't start 50 minutes in like that one episode.
Why not, Dan? Why not?
I mean, look, it's too late. I've already broken down the process, and then we'll go into Schmigadoon. Welcome to Podjiba, the Podjiba television podcast.
The Podjiba television Podjiba.
The Podjiba podcast is the Podjiba television show. I'm Podjiba comedy editor Dan Hamamura. With me, as always, our Podjiba managing editor Tori Preston.
Hello, Dan.
Hello, Tori.
And Shitmunch Dustin Rolls. I don't. Why? Why is this your name?
Shitmunch is the profanity I've taken to use against my son whenever he beats me at Rocket League.
Oh, okay, so you say it a lot then.
Yep.
Okay.
45 times in a row.
Wow, he really trounced you.
Have you ever won?
The second time we played, I won.
So you're one and you're at least 1 in 46.
I think probably 1 in 48.
Oh, okay.
But who's counting?
Yeah,
we are. I keep saying
luckily,
the next one.
Luckily for you, it's best of 96, so it's anybody's game still.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
You just got to win 48 in a row.
Yeah. I'm sure you can do it.
Yeah.
What does he call you in response? Like, is he allowed to call you names?
Yes. And he tries to come up with some good ones. I think he called me Granny Fart Bucket the other day, which was pretty good.
That's really good. That's actually wonderful. Why didn't you log in with that?
I don't know. Granny Fart Bucket.
Well, you can't steal his insult. So
I think you should own it.
Oh, that's true. It is a description of you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I am a granny fart bucket.
And Granny Fart Bucket, Dustin Rolls. Yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah.
All right.
I like it. But, that's all right. That's, Dustin, dude, nobody's perfect, and some of us are less not perfect than others.
If you would prefer to be a shit munch, you have every... Who are we to deny you that?
Right. So you don't like the music, but you do enjoy Schmigadoon. We're talking about Schmigadoon right now. And
Yes.
We'll do the rest of it at some
Yeah,
point.
I appreciate the music.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're all great performers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just don't like that style of music.
No, it's terrible.
I guess, did they
It's
know
well
it's terrible?
performed.
Yeah,
no, well, no. I mean, I think it's intentional. Like, that's not the musical that people
Nobody watches this for the music, right?
I think a lot of people do enjoy Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Even though it's not Rodgers.
At least
and
as like a classical musical style.
I mean, I like Oklahoma.
Do you?
Well, I'm from the South.
Even I don't like Oklahoma.
They do it every other year for like the high school play.
Right.
And also Dave, the movie. Remember Dave, the movie, and the Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was great. Oklahoma.
Okay, like
The last
that,
time I
but
saw
about
Oklahoma was a
pudding.
community theater production that a friend of mine was in, and it was fine.
Yeah, it's enjoyable. My high school girlfriend was in Oklahoma, and she was so pissed because she didn't get lead, and they made her like the grandma, which is like a big part, but also the grandma.
Right.
That's amazing.
And you went to every performance, I assume.
Oh, of course.
Did you hook up with Grandma?
I guess I did.
Did you get her to leave the makeup on?
Tori.
Yeah. I could see.
What?
Yeah, that's keep the wig. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. And like the apron? Was there an apron?
So what did you guys think of Schmigadoon?
No. No need to change it. So I am not a fan. Yeah, I agree. I'm not a fan of that style of music, and I think that I think the show is doing a very good send up of that style of music.
Right.
And I get that if you find it annoying, that is the point.
Right.
So it's exceeding very, very well.
Right.
On that,
especially
front.
yeah, in that. So then you're aligned with Keegan Michael Key's character,
Right?
Who does not like musicals and is not bemused by being in this world.
But so it's weird because I like that I traded off between him and Cecily Strong's character because her character is much more like enamored of it, like, or at least finds it appealing to in the beginning.
Right.
And like thinks it's cute. And so it was really like when they're doing the group number, I was aligned with him. But then anytime Alan Cumming as the mayor showed up, I was just like, like, oh, go on, sing more.
Right.
Like just totally. So it really depends on what's going on screen.
Right. And I did enjoy that again because her character is much more open to it. That when she is like, oh, I'm in a duet, cool, I get to sing, and then like is kind of like on board with it. Also, Aaron, I don't know how to say his last name, Tveit.
Yeah.
He's great, and more people should know that.
You have a crush.
Oh, I mean, like, well, he was in a musical that I did not get to see on Broadway, but like was amazing in, and so I'm like, I wish I'd seen that performance.
I think he's one of Ryan Murphy's guys too, isn't he?
I don't know. All I remember him from is Graceland, which was a USA show.
Oh yeah.
USA was trying to, when they were in their transition period from like Blue Sky to Real Dark, like that was kind of like one of the middle shows.
I remember Graceland. I watched a couple episodes. Was he the lead?
I believe he was the lead.
Yeah, I don't remember him at all. He's kind of a blind guy unless he's like singing, in which case it sort of transforms him into a guy with personality, I guess.
Yeah. That was also really good. Her interactions with him, like their song, where it's.
Right.
I mean, there are a couple of moments. They kind of go back, but it's like he's straight up singing and she's commenting on it, but then he doesn't acknowledge that it's a song. So you kind of get this sense that like they don't realize what they're doing, like the townspeople.
Right. Like, weirdly, they don't know they're in a musical.
They don't know they're in a musical, and everyone, yeah. But then when she goes and actually has the duet with him, and it's, the willingness she has to just kind of throw herself into, because she is aware as it's happening.
Right.
But, yeah, the little running commentary of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I enjoy. I guess I'm probably of the three of us. I'm probably the closest to enjoying a. Nothing wrong with a Rodgers and Hammerstein or like a 50s style MGM musical. You know, those can be enjoyable. But
like what do you enjoy?
West Side Story. That's not them, is it?
I don't remember. I'm not very good at musicals. I always like
I think it is them.
I'm always like a Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, like.
Oh yeah, those are great too.
Yeah, like that genre. Once it starts getting into the Oklahoma stuff, I'm like, I don't know. And then I just want to skip straight to the 80s, where it's not really a musical; it's just very heavy soundtracks.
Oh wait, have you guys watched not a movie podcast, but have you guys watched Streets of Fire?
I think I did.
Oh, it's on. I believe it's streaming now on Netflix, and I keep meaning to like go back and watch it, just because it's so chaotic and crazy. But yeah.
What is Dustin doing?
I don't know.
Sorry, I came in and out, and I kept saying the Coen Brothers movie, but you guys weren't hearing me because my mic went off. The Coen Brothers movie. Did you like that?
Hail
crappy...
Caesar?
Yeah, I didn't like it because of the music.
Yeah, no, I loved it because of the music.
Oh, see? Maybe
Hail Caesar?
Yeah, Hail Caesar.
I kind of don't remember Hail Caesar.
No, I mean, there wasn't much of a story to it, but I remember Channing Tatum pretending to kind of be like Gene Kelly or whatever in the... It was like as a sailor.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't care for all that.
Oh my God, Dustin.
What?
But I love that you actually are enjoying Schmigadoon, which to me would be even more grating. Like, I'll take a Gene Kelly riff over an Oklahoma riff any day.
Right. Which is also funny because this is the show that's tailor-made for me, and I don't know if I'm enjoying it as much as I feel like I should.
Yeah.
Like, I'm enjoying it, and I like the cast, and the numbers are entertaining, but I'm not quite there yet, and I think part of it has to do with the fact that it's because there's kind of that ironic distance that Michael Key and Cecily Strong have to kind of have because they're the normal people in this world. It in and of itself is making it feel a little bit distanced in a way that like even like Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist didn't like she buys in pretty quickly in a way that makes it like, okay, you know, she's trying to deal with it, but it's part of, she's like, okay, this is part of the world. And I don't know. There's something about it that isn't clicking for me yet, but also it's only 2 episodes in. So. Right.
And I think that's part of, like, I think that is part of the journey they're building up. Because I agree. I'm also a little bit like, I mean, this could get old fast if that's the only tone they strike the whole time.
Right.
But you already see with the second episode how they're like, it's still weird to them, but they're making the conscious effort to buy in. And so I think like if that journey as they like get more involved.
Yeah, I think that then as they kind of become more integrated, then it'll be more inviting to
watch. Yeah. Also when
the song when Keegan realizes he's about to break out with a teenager was fantastic.
That was really funny.
Like, wait, how old are you? What?
Right.
What?
Right, but again, that's the thing is like as entertaining as that is, it's very much like he's still not embracing the musical of it all.
Yeah, it's
like
all.
She's about to sing, and he's like, "Oh no, this is wrong," which is funny. But like,
all of the humor so far comes from them being essentially in opposition to the musical format.
Right.
Because even when they're like deciding to sing, it's still like, commenting on the decision to sing or whatever. Like it's all very conscious. I also think like I will be I need Martin Short to come back as the Leprechaun like a lot. Like I need him all the time.
Yep.
Also they need to let Kristen Chenoweth sing, and I know they're saving it because as soon as she opens her mouth, like everyone else will be blown out of the water. But like, it's just the waiting is killing me. Yeah,
and I was also like, wait, you have Kristen Chenoweth? Why is she not singing yet? But you're right. Save her for a big moment. Also, I'm hoping that they'll give Anne Harada her own song because she played the mayor's wife, and she's a Broadway regular, and like she was in the original cast of Avenue Q. So.
Yeah. Oh, they need to. Yeah, I want her to come back. I'm hoping she and the mayor have their own. Yeah. Weird side story.
They should have a duet that like explains what's going on with them.
The whole "Are you gay?" Yes, I try to be. Try to bring gaiety to the town.
That is so good. The one thing I would just say is like I saw a headline somewhere. I didn't read the article, but it was like if I wanted to hear these songs, I'd just listen to the original, which I think is like completely misses the point.
Right.
Right.
It 100% does.
Yeah. Okay, good.
But I also, so where do you guys think this is? I mean, here's the one, I think this is where my sort of separation from it, because I'm fine with I mean, I understand, Dan, you're the hard to get into when the show is setting up this kind of self-aware boundary between the main characters and the setting. Right. Like, it then makes it hard to kind of interact. I think my issue with it, because I'm also a little bit like, I'm enjoying it, but I'm waiting for it to do more. Like, it needs to hit that next speed. Mm-hmm. I'm like, if it stays at this level, like, it's going to lose me. Right. But I think where my sort of problem with it is that there's only one resolution. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's because we don't know all the characters yet, but the central conceit is that they are stuck in this town where they will be living a musical every day, until they find true love. Right. And so the implication is that they arrive together, they've been dating, they've been having relationship problems. Clearly they are not each other's true love, because if they were, they'd be able to leave. So then who would be their true love? And so far in the town, I'm like, none of them. So to me, it's like, okay, you're going to go through this whole season and it's just going to be them realizing, like, actually truly falling in love. Right. I can't see so far, based on the characters we've met, I cannot see them falling in love with anyone else in the town. So there's also, to me, there's a lack of, like, I'm along for the journey if it's just them discovering their own, how to be in love with each other. But it kind of takes some of the suspense away, because I guess that makes sense, and that also seems, at least so far, that definitely seems like the trajectory that they're on. Right. The only other version of that I could kind of see is kind of like the Groundhog Day-ish version, where they have to instead of it being like where in Groundhog Day Phil has to learn how to become a better person, right? And like, although that also has the rom-com element with Andie MacDowell, but like he has to learn how to become a better person, right? And so I could see a version where it's like they have to kind of like, it's almost like they have to learn how to love themselves, and like they're not the people that they need to be yet, and then once they become those people, then they'll fall in love, right? Or they just have to learn how to actually love rather than whatever it is that each of them are doing, right? No, I see that. Although we also don't, I don't know that we know enough about their previous life to like make that leap. I'm just kind of like speculating. Well, we also don't know enough people in the town. Like, maybe there's somebody in the town that is going to connect with each of them. I don't know. Right.
It is worth noting that this is only 6 episodes and they're half an hour apiece. So we're like a third of the way through it so far.
It's only 6 episodes?
Yeah.
Oh, they're totally going to end up together. Never mind. Is it like a limited series? Do we know that yet?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Anyway, Schmigadoon on Apple TV Plus.
You can watch it after you watch Ted Lasso when it comes back
yes.
later this week.
Oh man, I'm so excited.
I'm spending a lot of time watching Apple TV lately. Just like my whole Friday is devoted to it.
Yeah, like when you're watching Lisey's story.
Yes.
Which is over now, thank God.
God damn.
Oh, so it wasn't a satisfying ending.
So terrible. That show was so terrible.
Just the worst.
I thought it was okay. Here's the other thing: the pacing on that show is so bad that I literally thought like 2 weeks ago was the finale, and then like, you get to the end of the episode and you're like, nope, I guess it didn't end. And then like last week should have been the finale, but nope, they somehow stretched it into this week. So
Yeah, and this week felt like sort of like an hour-long coda too.
it was so like the climax because this is the problem. They don't. It's like they wanted to do that thing where they kind of construct it as whatever an 8-hour movie almost, and then they just arbitrarily cut it into chunks. So it's not really like they're looking at episode arcs individually.
Okay.
But what it meant was that you would have these episodes that stretched on with no real tension, and they would just kind of end, and you'd be like, the credits would roll, and you're like, but nothing happened. So that happened with the penultimate episode, because it's like she finally, it seems like you're in the climax, and it's like the battle between Lisey and the guy who's been like harassing her for her dead husband's writing, the Dane DeHaan character. And so her plan is to like trick him into that Booyah Moon world. And she's going to sick this giant monster on him. So she gets him into that world, and then they're just wandering around through the trees, and they wander for a bit, and then the episode just ends. And then, so the finale opens up, and it's like they're still in this landscape, and they're still just like wandering around, cat and mousing, like for no reason, and then the monster shows up and kills him.
And then there was still like 35 minutes left.
Right. Because it turned out that there was like another story that her husband needed to tell her about like his childhood and blah, 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 blah. And you're like,
So bored.
I don't care anymore. Like,
Nope.
It's like she what? It's all supposed to be like teaching her how to be alone. And it's like, oh my God.
And they must have said, I love you like 77 times.
So many times. And like a weird montage of them just like hanging out together saying I love you through the past, but like in scenes that we never had even seen before. Like they're like sitting in some tall grass, and like my husband was watching it, and he's like, well, clearly they're not in New England, because you would not, like, there could be ticks in that grass, like you would not just sit there hugging each other. He's like, I would never hug you in tall grass. I was like, thanks. The monster was cool though. The like
yeah, but I just kept thinking, oh, God, they wasted so much money on this show. It could have been used for anything else.
And all the performers were good. Like Julianne Moore was really good. Like Clive Owen was really good. Everyone was
really great to see Joan Allen in a different kind of role.
She was really convincing. I loved Jennifer Jason Leigh as just like the super bitchy sister who like you still love, but like she's such an asshole.
Don't watch the show, people.
No.
Don't think about it.
But you know what it struck me as is, remember when, and again, this is the weird thing, is like Stephen King wrote the book and he wrote all of these episodes. Mm-hmm. So like this is his adaptation. But it reminded me a lot of the structure, like back when they would do the network TV movies of his books. So you'd have right, like a 4 episode, but each episode would be kind of like a movie length of The Stand, or I think it was like 2 movie length episodes.
Yeah, it was at least. Yeah, it might have been like 3-hour night, but like with commercials. So
with
like
commercials, yeah. So it was like 2 hour-and-a-half long
hours,
chunks would be right.
Yeah.
And so you kind of got the sense that you would have these long stretches, but it didn't conform to that like normal episodic structure.
Right.
But those were also, this felt like it was trying to harken back to that, but because it was broken into these like weekly installments that had because they lacked that arc. I'm like, you guys should have just done it as, 2 or 4 movies.
Right.
Like the long, just do long stretches, short run, like number of episodes, and just like do it that way. Because it felt like it was the amount of story in the show felt like it was a short story that just they stretched for an adaptation.
It totally could have worked as just a movie.
Yeah, it did not need to be as long as it was. Mm-hmm. But it also makes me wonder, like, because it wasn't based on a short story. Like, it was based on a whole ass novel. Like, do you read the novel and does that feel like just a puffed up short story?
It goes on and on. And on. Are you guys still watching Physical? Or just me?
I stopped after episode 3, and then I caught up a couple more episodes. So I think I watched through episode 5, and then I stopped again.
I didn't even start it.
It's not like, I don't know. It's
fine.
It's made well enough that I'm like, I can appreciate it, but it didn't. I don't know. It still hasn't quite. I'm trying to remember where I was in the story even. I don't know.
I just like Rose Byrne a lot, so I keep watching, thinking it'll get much better, but it's about the same. She's very insulting in her head, her interior monologue, which is to his detriment, and it's also kind of fun sometimes.
I think I got to the point where, what was she doing?
Working out?
She was working out. She had already made, I think she tried to make a tape on the beach and it wasn't working out well. Is that episode like 4 or 5?
Maybe.
I don't know. That's around where I was, and maybe a little bit later. But
it's bad. And Home Before Dark is not a very good second season, so I'm watching a lot of Apple TV, but not a lot of it is great right now.
What about Kevin Can Fuck Himself?
Oh, I love. I really like that.
Okay.
I haven't watched this past yesterday's episode yet, but yeah, I've been keeping up with it.
Okay. Yeah, because that's one I do intend to catch up on.
It's still holding up so far.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that you worry that the premise is going to run out. But yeah, so far it's hanging on.
It's still okay.
Yeah, I seem to like it more each week.
Oh, that's
and
promising.
They're definitely like it's one interesting thing is that the like the reality, quote unquote reality, like drama side is actually becoming a little bit funnier, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a little bit more as like people have come into her Annie Murphy's character's life. It's like there's a little bit more people for her to talk to and banter with, and like there's a little bit more joking going on. So it's interesting because it's I don't know if it's intentional. I mean, I assume it's intentional, but it does feel like it's still dark, but it feels like, you know, the dark side of her world is actually becoming a little bit just a little bit lighter and a little bit brighter than as she, like, you know, has these hopes of escaping her marriage. But
well, this week's episode, not to spoil too much, but it had one of those classic sitcom things where, like, Kevin was having dinner with his wife for his birthday, but also having dinner with his best friend in a different place.
Yeah, and they're next to each other, like Chuck E. Cheese, right?
Yeah,
or like a Chuck E. Cheese kind of place,
right? But there was also a hitman involved and a cop involved, and then like a hockey player who hated Boston involved, and it was really kind of hysterical.
Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to because I think I'd seen like 4 episodes, maybe 5 episodes, so I know I'm a few weeks behind. Okay.
And this one is only 8 episodes, right?
Next week's I think maybe next week's 2.
I think this week's is episode 6, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm not sure. Oh, that reminds me, I saw a commercial for a cartoon, so Dustin's obviously going to watch it.
He loves cartoons now.
Yeah, but it's for AMC Plus, but now I'm forgetting what it's called.
Don't do this to me.
No, I'm going to look it up because I have to.
An AMC cartoon?
An AMC Plus cartoon, but the reason why Dustin's going to watch it is because it's created by the guy. It's created by.
Kirkman?
No, Steve Conrad, I think.
Oh, God damn it! Yeah,
I think it's his thing.
Question.
But now I got to find the name. Yes.
How many cartoons does Dustin have to like before he'll just admit that he likes cartoons?
Oh, good question.
Like cartoons. I like, even when I like them, I'm like, this would be much better live action.
Would it though? Why can't you just appreciate the talents of voice acting and animation?
Yeah. Ultra City Smiths, is that it?
Yes, I believe that is Steve Conrad.
It is. They keep sending me screeners for that, but I didn't know it was him.
Yeah, so you can tell it's him in part because
it's got Jimmy Simpson in it. Yeah,
Jimmy Simpson's in it. Kurtwood Smith, Terry O'Quinn, Chris Conrad. So
holy crap, that's like a total Dustin show.
Yeah.
God damn it!
Listen to this cast: John C. Reilly, Jimmy Smith, Kurtwood Smith, Tom Waits, Tim Heidecker, B.B. Newirth, Terry O'Quinn, Tim Meadows, Melissa Villaseñor, Kristen Bell, Chris Conrad, Luis Guzman, Damon Harriman. So it's basically like everyone that he loves to work with, plus a bunch of other people.
And
Mantzoukas, of course.
Because he's in every animated.
Dak Shepard, Alia Shawkat, Deborah Winger.
Oh my gosh. I love this.
Yeah, so Dustin, looks like you're probably going to have to watch a cartoon. Oh, yeah, this is a cartoon. Or it's stop motion.
All watch Patriot.
I guess technically it's different, so it's stop motion. So maybe you can justify it to yourself that way, Dustin.
What is the premise?
Let's see. Follows the investigation into the mysterious disappearance of fictional metropolis Ultra City's most famous magnate by two intrepid detectives.
Oh, so it could be a little bit noir?
Sounds like a little bit noir. Yeah, R-rated puppet noir.
Oh my God, do you think they'll have R-rated puppet sex?
Oh, maybe. I did see a movie that... Oh, is this the same studio?
Melissa McCarthy movie.
Oh, yeah. Happy Time Murders?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see that one. No, but I saw... there was a movie that was... it was the... Oh, shoot. What's his name? Not... now I need to look up the studio. Because it's... No, what was that puppet movie?
Everybody's listening to this at 2 times speed. Don't worry about it.
That was really
Team
sad.
America?
No. It was like a 3-character thing, and it was real sad.
With puppets.
With puppets, but there was sex in it, and I'm like, this is weird.
A 3-character sad puppet show.
Somebody is listening and just screaming out.
Yeah, what it is. And that person is a puppet sex connoisseur, and they.
I can find it.
Show yourself in the comments, people.
I want to find it.
How many seconds did it take for you to yell out the name of the title?
What is that guy's name? The Charlie Kaufman. It's a Charlie Kaufman movie.
I know.
Is it the Steve Carell thing?
No. Hang on. Anomalisa. That's what it's called. Anomalisa.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
That one's like, it was based on his play, but it's like 3 characters and it's puppets, and then there's puppet sex at one point. It's like, this is weird. I don't know that I'm comfortable watching this.
I mean, was it like full penetration or just like...
I mean, no,
it's
enough. It's definitely enough where you're like, oh, this is like a real sex scene. This is not like, it's not like,
that puppet has a penis.
It's not like the Team America humping.
It's not like the Team America humping. Like it was like it. Yeah. Anyway, this is not the important thing.
I disagree. I think it's a very important thing. I think we're getting into something real meaty about the artistry of puppet sex.
I also haven't seen that movie since it came out, but I do remember thinking it was interesting. Ultra
like
City
it.
Smiths is also done by Stupid Buddy, which is the studio that does. It's Seth Green's studio that does.
Right.
The Robot
Right.
Chicken.
Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know if this is going to be just on AMC Plus or if it'll be on regular AMC.
When does it premiere if Dustin's already got screeners?
It
July
premieres
22nd.
Yeah, Thursday.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So we can, watch it. We could talk about this next week. Let's talk about it all over again next week.
We could definitely talk about it next week. If we have AMC Plus. Or, yeah, anyway.
We all have AMC Plus, Dan.
Do we? I don't.
What do you mean
You
you don't? How have you been?
No, I have AMC TV. I have cable.
Oh, you're old-fashioned.
Oh. No, he's not old-fashioned. He has Spectrum.
I have
That's right,
Spectrum.
that's right.
I have loyalty to Spectrum. Spectrum Originals. They haven't had a new original in a while, I think. But it's fine.
They're out of the original game.
I don't. That's not true.
They are, because Mr. Mercedes went to another network.
Mr. Mercedes was DirecTV.
Yeah.
Dustin,
Oh, sorry.
how dare
sorry.
you?
My bad.
Very
My
different. Very different company.
How
AT&T.
dare you?
All right. This show has gone completely off the rails. How did it get off the rails? Let's find out. What is everybody drinking? Tori?
I'm having some maple bourbon mixed with grapefruit soda.
All right.
I kind of want more, though. It's almost over, and we still have a couple of shows to talk about.
We
Yeah,
do.
yeah. I'm about to go get another beer myself.
All right.
Oh, can we both go at the same time and leave Dan alone?
Yep.
Okay,
Sure,
we'll be right back. Bye.
fill the space there.
All right, I can do this. Let's see what else is. Let's see if Spectrum has any new originals coming up. I'm just gonna Google that and let's see. Spectrum original programming. Let's see. Ooh, The Bite. What is The Bite?
What do you mean the
Oh, Dustin. There's a new what? No, this came out in May. Oh, I have to watch this. Dustin, wait, Tori, are you back?
I am back.
There is a Spectrum original called The Bite. It's created by Robert and Michelle King.
Oh, I remember hearing
It's
about
the
that.
Kings. It's 6 episodes. The premise, according to Wikipedia, because there's only one sentence here, but it says, an unexpected and deadly new strain of the coronavirus pandemic arrives. So that's cool.
But I think it's about vampires or something.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. But yeah.
He totally knew about it because I feel like we talked about it and then he, I don't know, probably just didn't watch it.
This is because you have to have Spectrum.
Yeah. He'll never
It's
be
the
able to watch it.
Newest Spectrum original.
I was in the other room and I just kept hearing somebody yelling, "Dustin,
Yeah,
Dustin."
Dustin. The latest Spectrum original, which just came out in May, is The Bite, created by the Kings.
Dan, you should watch every episode and do a recap just to rub it, just so that Dustin knows what's happening, but he can't watch it.
All right, I can do that.
You
It's
can
only
probably-
6 episodes.
You gotta flaunt your privilege, your Spectrum
Yeah.
privilege.
It has Audra McDonald and Taylor Schilling and Stephen Pasquale and Philippa Sue and other people who I don't know. But yeah, I can watch this.
Yeah. I think it's about zombies or vampires.
Okay, it sounds like vampires if it's called
Right?
The Bite.
Unless it's about a zombie bite that makes them zombies. But COVID zombies.
Let's see what the Spectrum Original site says. The Bite follows the lives of 2 neighbors as they embark on unprecedented times when a deadly new strain of a virus arrives.
Still not saying.
Still doesn't say, but
You'll have
Let's
to
see.
watch and find out.
I guess so. I don't know. Yeah, this sounds like something I'm gonna have to watch.
You should watch that while we're watching Kung Fu.
Oh yeah,
that's true. I still don't watch Kung Fu, but there's only one episode of.
There's
Kung
only
Fu.
one. Yeah, this Wednesday is the finale.
Yeah. So what's been going on, Tori, since I don't watch?
Well, let me tell you. So in the penultimate episode, their grandmother, so Nikki's grandmother comes to town, her popo, because they're getting ready for the wedding, for Althea's wedding. And it turns out Nikki finds a photograph of the grandmother with the sword. So it turns out she was the 2 generations back warrior of the family line. Okay. And so Pei Ling, her mother had found Nikki's grandmother and like trained her. So that's how Nikki's grandmother kind of found out about all the stuff around the sword and the guardians and the warriors and kind of all of that whole aspect of the legend. And she ended up like training to use the sword and then had to defend it against these thieves. And during the fight, she got scared of the amount of power. Because like the bond between the chosen kind of warrior and the sword is really strong. So she got scared. And so once the battle was done, she gave the sword back to Pei Ling's mother and kind of was like, I'm done. And so that's why she kept it a secret that she knew all about this. And so when Nikki's aunt realized that she was the warrior of her generation, the grandmother kind of kicked her out because she didn't want to get into it and was protecting the secret. So once this all kind of comes to light, Nikki wants to talk to her grandmother about whatever information she might have. And so there's a really touching scene where her mom is like, we've all been keeping these secrets and it's tearing the family apart. And like, your secrets is what drove my sister out of the home and she died and that's not cool. And, I'm really proud of my daughter. I don't want the same thing to happen to her. So please just help us. So, honesty helps heal all of the rifts. And it's very sweet. But the big revelation is that they get the clues that they need to find the forge, and it's because her popo can read the scars on her hand, and it's laying out the locations of these 7 battles, and so when they mark that on a map, it matches the constellations, and so the 8th star that is missing is the location of the forge, and the forge turns out to be the monastery where the show started.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. So she's going to the monastery to protect the forge, and at first she's like, "Oh no, Henry, you can't come with me because I don't want you to die, and it just makes me really sad when people die, and no, you can't come with me." And then she has this great heart to heart with Pei Ling, or Pei Ling's like, "I mean, you can just because that seems to be the destiny, you can still choose your own path." She's like, "You're right." So she decides to go to China with Henry anyway, and they get there and they get to the monastery, and then Zhalan shows up at the end. Here's the thing. Zhalan killed her boyfriend.
Oh.
Because, remember how she was dating that billionaire guy to get his father's, so his father had 4 of the weapons.
Right.
And so you think at first, Zhalan is reaching out to him just to, get at, to have an in to collect
she's
those.
Using him.
She's using him for the weapons. Yeah. And then, she kind of, just keeps hanging out with him, and you kind of can't tell if she's continuing, if she's just still, it's easy, or maybe she has feelings for him, or, what's going on. But it definitely is, a little weird that they're, still kind of fuck buddies through all this. Right. But then again, he's turned against his family, so he kind of he's thrown his lot in with her, so he kind of can't go back. Mm-hmm. So in this episode, she kind of, the other shoe drops, which is that it's not like she was just using him for the weapons. It's that his dad, she has a long-standing grudge against his family, because his dad was the owner of a textile plant where her parents worked, and her mom got really sick. So again, this is the mother that actually trained Nikki's grandmother. So Paling and Zalon's family, they are the guardians of the sword, holding the sword for the chosen warriors.
Right.
So her mom, so it's kind of interesting that you're finding out about her mom in both parts of the story this week. Because you're hearing about like how she trained Popo, with Nikki's family, and then you're hearing about how she died with Zalon. Mm-hmm. So she got really, really sick because of the chemicals from this plant that the boyfriend's father owned, and that was partly why, and it happened when she was pregnant with Zalon, so that's partly why Zalon had so many kind of health problems as a kid. Mm-hmm. But her birth also like killed her mother. So there's this whole grudge against everything, and then in pursuing her grudge, she discovered everything that his dad's company has been doing, and so they're in like all kinds of weapons technology and AI and just all kinds of crazy stuff. And so she's just like, they absolutely can't have this power. Mm-hmm. So that's why I wanted to get the weapons away from him. And it's not just about me having all of the weapons. It's about like making sure that like I can destroy everything of his and he can never have this power. But unfortunately that includes the son. So she's like, I do actually love you, but I'm still going to kill you. And then she kills him. Oh. Yeah.
Pretty ruthless.
It's pretty ruthless. So yeah, episode ends, and this week, the finale. We're gonna have the big confrontation at the monastery where the forge is. But the cool thing is, the monastery is back up and running. So Nikki isn't like alone there with Henry. She actually has like all of the other lady monks who have been training to defend the place. So they're ready to fight too.
Two things.
Okay.
One, Grandma is only 6 years older than Mom in real life. So just a little casting error there.
I don't know what your point is. They both look fabulous.
They do. But also, I don't know if you know this or not, Dan, but what I'm really invested in was, will Nikki get back to the wedding or not? Because I need her to be at her sister's wedding. We waited all season for this wedding.
No, we're still going to see the wedding because she handed off the binder to Ryan, because Ryan is going to take her place and he'll be the man of honor.
No, I still need Nikki back there.
Oh, interesting.
She can't miss her sister's wedding.
I need Nikki to make out with Henry. Like, we all have goals that need to be fulfilled in the next week.
I mean, you're just kind of also casting poor Derek aside right now.
Yeah, what was it? Yeah, he was left taking pictures of the file for the rich guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know where that's going.
Makes it to the wedding.
Is he even invited? I thought they didn't like him.
I think they like him okay.
Well, I think Althea likes him, but I thought the whole thing was like the grandma didn't. Oh.
Well, she didn't like him when they were dating, is what I hear.
Grandma doesn't like a lot of things right now. She's coming around.
She doesn't like spicy food or... Grandma was... and then she ripped up the dress, but she made it better. All the family stuff is always wonderful.
It's just all season long. It's been about this wedding, and now I have to see this wedding. But also
Nikki, but Althea being okay with Nikki not going to the wedding, and she knew Nikki had to follow her own path.
I'm sure she is okay with it, but I am not okay with it.
Well, Dustin, you're not a part of their family.
So Dustin, your want is that this adventure is wrapped up and she manages to fly 13 hours back in time for the wedding.
That's right.
All right. We'll see if that happens. I won't, but you guys will.
Yeah, sure. So you'll be watching the awesome Michelle and Robert King show.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're saying you guys haven't seen any trailers or have no way of knowing any inside knowledge for, what might be coming in the finale? Like nobody has any information?
I wish I did, but I don't know anything about what's coming.
No.
It could go anywhere. It could be that That episode could be full of all sorts of exciting things.
Zombies.
I mean, who knows? Maybe.
I still think Nikki's gonna blow up all the weapons. Like, they're all gonna be destroyed, and second season, it's just start from scratch. Like, what do you do when you're a destined warrior with no, your destiny's over?
Oh, interesting.
Maybe she'll forge some new weapons.
I feel like they need to have a big showdown at the wedding.
Why at the wedding? Why wouldn't it be at the forge? Why would they both of them go from China back to San Francisco?
I don't know. I feel very invested in the wedding.
Yeah.
Because the fiance is going to turn out to be a bad guy, remember?
No, he's not going to be a bad guy. Evan could be.
No.
You don't think so? What if...
No, I've come around on Derek.
Trevor. What if Henry dies? What'll we do if Henry dies?
Oh, didn't think about that.
Or, oh my God, what if he's heavily disfigured and, like, it's like a Jigsaw situation where his, like, brain gets scrambled and, like, maybe this is his villain origin story. Maybe he'll be the bad guy next season.
Oh, interesting.
As long as nothing happens to his arms.
Well, we'll see. There's only one episode left in Kung Fu this season, and then we'll see what happens someday.
It'll be on Wednesday on CW.
Yes. I don't have a good transition because I don't really know anything about this show. Speaking of shows that I don't know anything about, there we go. Dr. Death.
The bite literally doesn't even have a Wikipedia entry.
It's a Spectrum show.
Yeah.
I understand why they don't get Wikipedia.
They're shrouded in mystery.
Oh,
Dustin,
so
if you don't have Spectrum, you don't deserve to.
I really want to see it, but I really want to. It should be made available on Netflix immediately.
In the meantime, Dr. Death is a Dustin show, I think, because I haven't seen it. It is on Peacock?
Really is.
Is that right?
It is on Peacock.
Okay.
Because it's basically like it's like a medical show and a legal show and a Pacey show, and it's also true crime. It's like got everything.
Wow, that is kind of everything that you want in a show.
Yes. It's based on a true story about, Christopher Dunch, which I had never heard of before. And I was expecting Dr. Death to be about Jack Kevorkian, and I was pleasantly surprised it wasn't. Because any show about Jack Kevorkian was going to be horribly depressing. But this turned out to be like bananas, because this Dr. Death was like a neurosurgeon in the 2000s, and he was just so wildly incompetent that he just kept like paralyzing and killing people, and they kept letting him perform surgery. And the surgeries, it's based on a podcast, and apparently from the comments that I read, the descriptions were insane. But also watching it on TV is insane, because he's just got like a hammer and he's wailing away on these people's spines. You're like, what the fuck?
Wait, was he a spinal surgeon or a neurosurgeon?
Yes. I think, aren't they the same?
Well, neuro would be brain, right?
I think so, but...
Okay, he was a spinal surgeon. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, it's all kind of connected. But I don't... But so, if he could still perform...
works on people's disc, so he just he'd go in for like a very simple procedure, and the person would like bleed to death.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, there was one scene, and I'm not kidding you, and I guess this particularly was based on a true part. He like cuts into the spine, cuts into the back, and he sticks his thing in there, and he pulls a piece out, and he goes, "Oh, I guess that looks like cancer. There's nothing we can do here." So they sew it back up. They leave a sponge in. He gets an infection, and they go in and they find out that it's not cancer, that he had just pulled out part of his esophagus or something.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait,
And
but if he's allowed to continue doing this, like, did he ever have successful surgeries, or was every single one a disaster?
I don't know. I think he had like 38 botched surgeries, I believe.
Wow.
The 2 people died, and there was he paralyzed his best friend.
Oof.
Left him a quadriplegic. But he had like impressive credentials, and on paper he looked great. And I guess he was a really smart researcher. He just had no skills, no surgical skills. But what the series does is that it sort of explores that, like, is this guy just really incompetent, or is he a sociopath, or some form of both? Because he had to know that each time he botched the surgery that he wasn't a good surgeon, and yet he kept going back, and that takes a certain, like, was he doing it on purpose?
Yeah. And so does the show, has it kind of come to a point of view on that? Like, have they decided?
That was kind of frustrating. I mean, they investigated, he explored his past and tried to figure it out. I think he was both incompetent and really, really sure of himself.
Oh, he's a white guy.
Yes.
I mean, that checks out.
Yes. But it was wild, and it's got a great cast. It's got Alec Baldwin, and not that he's great, but Christian Slater is like full on Christian Slater in this, and the woman from Bridge to Terabithia and Winn-Dixie, and Sophia Robb. Oh, I love her. Kelsey Grammer's in it. It's just really, I don't want to say fun. It's really entertaining and very addictive, just to see and just the surgeries are so hard to watch, but you can't not watch them too. Yeah, it's wildly addictive, and
Yeah.
you get to see what happens to the guy, but I'm not going to spoil that for you.
Oh, God damn it. Okay.
You could look it up, but that would ruin it.
That would ruin it. All right, so it's on Peacock, and we can
And
watch.
I refuse to look it up.
And we can
I
watch
was like,
all of it.
Yes.
Okay. I'm very excited about this.
I started like on Thursday night at like 10 o'clock, and I was done by the next day. I'd finished 6 episodes by like 6 in the morning, and then finished the other 2 that night.
Did you stay up all night?
Yeah.
No, I stayed up late, and then I woke up really early because I couldn't stop. You know how sometimes you just wake up in the middle of the night randomly and you go back to sleep?
Yeah.
I woke up in the middle of the night randomly, and I was like, well, I got to keep watching.
Huh. Okay. So it's like you had the same compulsion to keep going like he did.
Yes, that's right. Only I didn't kill anybody. And these poor people. He would just make all these promises, these people that were just having intense back pain. Oh, I can fix that. No problem.
Yeah.
I'll have that done in 20 minutes. And then like 6 hours later, you bled to death.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, and the difficulty of getting him, of like being able to connect the dots and like get him out of the medical profession.
Yeah.
Well, it was a matter of like the medical profession sort of protects its own.
Right.
There's like laws that prohibit like information from being sent to the next person or the next hospital or whatever. Like the hospitals would cover their asses, and they wouldn't want to like admit that they hired an incompetent person, so they wouldn't tell the next hospital along the line about him. So he'd get fired at one place and just go to another place. It's fucking wild. And these are the people that are like working on us.
Well, that's comforting.
You know? Yeah. Hospitals are kind of terrifying.
Also because like, they all should be smarter than you. Because, like, if you could be a doctor, you'd just be a doctor. Like, the school, it's so intense.
Right.
Yeah. Or at least you hope that they're...
Well, exactly. You hope that they are. Yeah.
Right.
Clearly, they're not always. But yeah, you're kind of
they
programmed to just trust them.
They described this guy's surgeries as like a toddler with a hammer.
I mean, that sounds kind of insulting to toddlers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They don't kill people.
That's true.
Ugh.
Anyway, I really, if you're into like
Trash.
trash, but also like legal procedurals and medical procedurals, and Joshua Jackson and Christian Slater, it's kind of like can't miss.
Oh man, I love Joshua Jackson.
Yeah, he's really good at this, and they put like a fat thing on him, which looks weird, because I guess the real Christopher Dunst got big at the end.
Oh, they fat lead him?
Yeah, I don't think it was necessary. But it did add to the trashy quality.
It's Fat Lee is never necessary, but it sure is entertaining.
That was a real choice, you know?
It was an unnecessary choice.
Yeah, they're like, well, here's what we're gonna do. He's married now, so he's gonna get fat. Because they're not.
How do we signify a time jump? Fat suit on Jamie Bamber.
A time jump plus, like, they feel a little bit safer.
Yeah, they're safer, and also he's really depressed.
Yeah, and like doesn't I don't remember what episode it was, but there's a moment where he has it's just him and Adama, you know, his dad.
Oh, the jump rope scene.
Yeah, and he's like, I've lost like 2 stone so far, and Edward James almost is just like, keep jumping.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
It's just so brutal.
It's like, you're telling your son that he's too fat to, I don't know, command a starship.
But it was also like the first episode, I think, where they like had him. It was like I don't know. It wasn't. I guess it was another time jump because it was like he was no longer in the fat suit. So
well,
that's
right, because by the time they
Mm-hmm.
rescue them on New Caprica, he's thin again, right?
Right. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So it's like the reveal that like, oh, he's thin again, and so it's like he's working out with his dad, and his dad's just like so brutal.
Ooh, it might be time for a Battlestar rewatch. It's been a while.
Oh. Dustin's seen that one, right?
I have seen the first 3 seasons and then I bailed.
What?
Oh, what if we made Dustin watch the end of like even not like the last season of Battlestar?
I mean, the last season is a little weird, but the finale.
The finale's
worth
talking
it.
about contentious finales.
I loved it.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole last season.
There's one thing that's nuts in the finale that was the most nuts thing to me, but I'm still on board with it.
That would be a lot of fun. Yeah, actually, that would be on par with Friday Night Lights season 2. Like, if you're just judging it as like the batshitteriest of the seasons, if you like just pull a season and go like, just watch this.
Right. Yeah, probably. Especially out of context, because there's some weird stuff going on.
There's super weird stuff.
But speaking of super weird stuff going on, Loki ended last week.
Oh yeah, it did.
Yeah. But also announced that there will be a season 2. So
weirdly.
Why is that weirdly? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you think it'll come back before Ant-Man?
That I'm not sure. I think it could. I think that's really the question because that was my question coming out of it.
When is Ant-Man supposed to release? Have they said?
I think it's
February 2023.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while.
Loki could come back next year.
Yeah, because I think that's really the question. Is the second season going to pick up where the first season ended, or will Loki or something from this show have popped up in a movie or other series in between?
Right.
That then this series would have to react to.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, if Loki were to come back before Ant-Man, I think it might be able to pick up right where this leaves off with some acknowledgement of maybe whatever happens in Doctor Strange.
Right. But also, it seems like if we were to keep following the story of this Loki, it doesn't need to, because of where he ends up, it could kind of just follow his adventures in that
right, and maybe
timeline.
No other movie touches on that timeline.
Yeah, and like he can jump in and out of other things as he needs to. but
Yeah.
or as they want him to.
What?
But,
No.
Well, yeah. So because he's in an alternate, he's in a different reality at the end of
right,
it.
right.
Okay, but then everything he did would be there would be no stakes because it would be pointless.
Well, I
It
mean,
would just be separate adventures, a side adventure.
but that depends on what his arc is, right? Because like if his arc is to somehow get to Sylvie or something to like it. I mean, we thought this show wouldn't maybe do what it did. Like
the thing about these shows is that I enjoy watching them, but sort of contemplating what's going. It's irksome.
But what I appreciate about that reveal of a second season was it was the first time that the Marvel Disney shows kind of showed that they were invested, because they've teased the idea that like all of these shows could be limited series. Like I think WandaVision got submitted for the Emmys as like limited series, but then Falcon I think got submitted as regular series. I don't know, but it's like you never quite know because they hadn't actually formally announced a second season for any of them, and so this was like the first time they actually were like, no, we like you get to the end of this one and we're telling you right now it will come back.
Right. And I mean, it's not as though they haven't done that with like movies even, where like, and it wouldn't even be like a semi fancy, mid credits thing like this. Like it would be like at the very end of the credits, it's like Thor will return in the Dark World. And it's like, oh cool.
Yeah, like that's great. Like it's nice to know. But it also felt like a more being invested in the television format of it.
Right.
Being like, no, this will get a second season. Like it's not just another chunk of a larger story. Like it is its own thing. And
So Dustin, I want to go back to your question for a second about your thing about the stakes of it. So are you concerned that
just the second season? Yeah.
Are you saying that the stakes of a second season would feel relatively unimportant if it wasn't connected to the larger MCU?
Well, I feel like this first season, if I'm not mistaken, basically introduced this phase's Thanos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean that's
it introduced the actor
or the lead pace
more than
of that phase.
I don't think so. I think he's going to be more than a lead pace. I think he is going to be like the next Thanos. Because Kang is also connected. So they've announced that there's going to be a Fantastic Four movie. And Kang is not only one of their villains, like he's very much tied to the Fantastic Four. Like I think he's a future descendant of them.
Right. Yeah, that sounds right.
So I think that's why I'm kind of like, it's not just that we're looking at so far as like 2023. I think that like the fact that there are variants of him, like I think that this is something that could span multiple phases if they go that far. So my feeling is that he's more of a Thanos than Ronan or I don't know, Chris Eccleston in Dark World or like any of these other guys, even more than a Loki.
Well, now it feels like we're gonna like have another 7 or 8 years of them just playing whack-a-mole in different timelines or universes.
Well, maybe, but also they don't have to. I mean, like one of the benefits is that you can end it. You can end it whenever you have to end it, right? Or whenever you want to end it, because you could fight a Kang, or up until like it could all be fighting a Kang until you get to the Kang, like the actual like ultimate bad guy version.
I mean,
which this was not.
And like, so saying that I think he's the next Thanos. Like, so Thanos was it took 3 phases for Marvel to like beat Thanos. Right. Now that they've done all of that groundwork, like I think he could be the next Thanos level threat, but that doesn't mean they'll take 3 phases to address him. Like maybe they don't drag it that long. But also I think that, this makes sense if they're going to do a multiverse, because that's how they can introduce all of these other properties that they now control. Right. Like the X-Men, hopefully, at some point. Anyway.
It seems a lot.
Oh, no, it's going to be, it's going to be a lot and confusing, but I also think it might be more fun. Like, I think they have the opportunity to hire, like, more interesting filmmakers and, like, maybe do some, I don't know, like, maybe it'll finally become so top-heavy that the whole MCU just collapses in on itself, but...
I think it might at some point. I don't know. I like Black Widow a lot, too, so what do I know?
But
I like everything that I watch. I'm annoyed by...
how it connects.
Yes. And even when but ultimately it pays. I mean, the first phase or third phase, whatever, paid off very well. So maybe I'm wrong.
So then, when you were watching the Loki finale, were you annoyed that it was setting something else up, or were you enjoying it for what it was, or neither?
Both. I know I enjoyed it. I thought I was a little annoyed, like on your behalf, really. It's like, oh, they're introducing Kang here. Toy's going to be so annoyed by this. But also, it was really, really exposition heavy.
Yeah, it was wall-to-wall exposition.
Like a 25-minute, like, speech there. I don't know. It was like just this...
No, yeah, it was Jonathan Majors having to, like, sell a 20-minute info dump.
Yes.
Right.
And he did.
He's great,
purely.
yeah.
Like, he was wonderful, but, yeah, that was...
It was a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But it was helpful, I guess.
Well, the thing that's interesting about that, though, is that it reminds me a little bit of... and I guess we wouldn't have thought of it this way because we didn't know that there was going to be a second season of Loki yet, but... It's structured very much in the way that Game of Thrones was, where the climax of the season is the penultimate episode, and then the final episode is the one of, like, shuffling all the pieces, getting ready for next season.
Right.
And this kind of... I mean, if you think of Loki as a piece of the MCU, it's kind of... It's fulfilling a similar job as that, where, like, you know, the big climax was the stuff in episode 5.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
I think it's a bit of both. I mean, I guess where I am, I have a hard time. The exposition was a lot, and I think a lot, you know, it wasn't... I really enjoyed the finale, but I think part of why I liked it was that it maintained the through line that I needed it to, which was still the examination of who Loki is.
Right.
And him getting a moment to kind of define himself. And Sylvie as well. Mm-hmm. And I think that was where, like, even though there was all this exposition and it had to do all this MCU stuff, it still, to me, I thought really successfully fulfilled the themes that it had been working on the whole time. And I'm really sorry, you can probably hear my cat wandering right in front of the microphone and jingling because she's being a real nightmare. Oh, come here, kitty. So I'm so distracted right now. She's just wandering on my desk looking at me and, like, knocking shit over. Yeah, I like that they fought. I like the fact that because I had been worried the whole season really about what the other shoe was. Mm-hmm. The idea of having a show based around Loki, who is a trickster,
right, and
having the show seem on the surface so straightforward,
right,
kind of got me paranoid. I was like, it cannot be that straightforward. Mm-hmm. Something has to be going on behind the scenes. There has to be some, you know, and I think on a structural level, it was. It convinced you the whole time that there was this, you know, that the TVA was a fraud, only to reveal in the end that, like, it was premised on a lie, but it wasn't a fraud.
Right.
Like, everything it was doing was legit.
Right. Like,
there really was a danger that it was preserving the timeline from. So that worked for me. And similarly, I think with Loki, you know, I could never quite tell. Like, there were so many opportunities for him to go for power or to lie or whatever. And in the end, it's like, no, he actually didn't. Like, he did none of that. He, you know, he proved he grew just by, like, being willing to sacrifice himself for something.
Right.
And And there was a reading I hadn't picked up on. Like, I was joking about self-love with him and Sylvie and everything like that, but like the idea that no, actually his journey was just getting to a point of being able to love himself. I thought was kind of interesting, but yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I don't mind it.
I like that part,
but I also like that Sylvie screwed him over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like, whenever they get around to making another Avengers movie, there's going to be, like, 60 characters they have to service.
Yeah. But I also don't, but, like, so, I mean, do you... Is it so I think what, to me, is defining this next arc is going to be kind of moral ambiguity or moral complication. Like, I think the MCU is moving out of heroes punch Nazis. Kind of like the Steve Rogers of it all, where everything is very black and white. And that I find more interesting personally. Like and I think Black Widow, that is the one thing that made that movie fit in with this phase as opposed to previous ones, is that it's kind of looking at her as a hero with, you know, how she became an Avenger was not a clear-cut, you know, she made a very tough choice that backfired. Like, she had to kill people. You know, she blew up people to be able to defect to S.H.I.E.L.D.
Is David Harbour going to be in future movies? Because I am all about that.
I mean, I hope so. I think that would be a lot of fun. But, you know, I think...
Fantastic.
But the idea of, like, you know, so the character of Yelena, if she's going to be Black Widow and we don't know who she's working for right now, like, or we do know. We know she's working for Countess...
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And then, you know, and then we also... And she's also working with John Walker, like, U.S. agent. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of moral gray kind of coming up on the horizon and heroes. And so I like that Loki fits in with that. Where he was
Moral
a villain
gray.
And he's maybe not necessarily a hero, but he's learned how to make decisions that are not purely self-interested. And there could be something interesting with that moving forward. I don't know. I think it could lead to, yeah, you're going to end up with a lot of characters because people who were villains, like Zemo, may keep popping up, and maybe he's not always the bad guy.
I don't know. I'll keep watching.
We're all going to keep watching. It's going to be fine. I'm just going to keep watching for Jonathan Majors. Like, I hope he shows up all the time and it's always a different Kang.
Oh, that would be great.
Right?
Yeah.
Like why not? Like, what if he just he shows up in every movie and show and dies. And then like another one pops up and it's fine. And I could watch that for like 5 straight years. Wouldn't get old.
Yeah. I did enjoy his performance quite a bit.
I loved his reactions. Like when you watch when Loki and Sylvie kiss and then when they're fighting, if like he's blurry in the background, but you can see his reactions to it all and it's priceless.
We got quiet, guys.
I guess that's it. I guess
Well, that's it.
Are we done?
I feel like
that's
maybe
all
we're
good.
done.
I don't think we
Yeah.
have anything else to say.
We don't. Other than Ted Lasso is out on Friday, so
There's
we're gonna watch that, and we're gonna watch the show that I've already
Ultra
mentioned.
City Smiths.
Ultra City Smiths, Dustin's favorite cartoon,
and the Kung Fu finale.
and the Kung Fu finale. So there's already a lot of TV.
And Dan's going to watch The Bite.
And yes, I will watch The Bite.
Don't watch The Bite, Dan.
No,
What are you
watch it.
talking about?
Yeah, you have to. You have to tell
Spectrum,
us.
It's a Spectrum original.
I will be very jealous.
I have to tell you how it is.
Yeah, you have to
Someone-
both. You have to
Someone has
review
to
it and
fill in the
spoil it.
Wikipedia page because apparently no one has written it.
And seriously, that's how little people pay attention to Spectrum originals.
It's a special. It's like the band that like you see them before they blow up, and then you're like, yeah, I watched them, had like a tiny bar
That is
when it
absolutely not going to happen.
they were just a thing, and then now they're Arcade Fire.
Vampire Weekend used to play at my frat house.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Were they in the frat, or was it just like...
No, they would come. We would do these music nights and stuff like that, and so they'd come and perform. Actually, a dude I later dated, he tried to be their manager, and then they dumped him, and like literally a week later, he found out that they had a record contract. And he was like all upset.
And then you dumped him.
I tried to no. He was a boyfriend that I tried to dump, and then 2 weeks later he dumped me. Like he convinced me to keep dating, and then yeah.
Oh, that guy. Oh, well then, good for him.
What do you mean? Good? Yeah, good for them.
No, I'm saying good for him that he got dropped by Vampire Weekend.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. How dare you? Anyway, I'm offended on your behalf, just like Dustin with Loki. That seems to be the end of the episode. So we'll be back next week with more stuff, I'm sure.
We always are.
We always are. I always feel like I'm always worried that we're going to run out of TV, and it turns out TV does not run out.
It just never ends.
Never ends. Also, I need to go watch Streets of Fire on Netflix.
We haven't talked about Gossip Girl.
Are any of us watching Gossip Girl?
Yeah. Are you
I
watching
am.
Gossip Girl?
Of course
I am.
you are. Of course you
Cool.
are.
Well, you need to put it in the doc because neither of us are watching Gossip
Yeah.
Girl.
Well, I don't know what to say about it yet.
All right.
Well, then
you
we
can
have-
tell us.
If you want us to talk about, I mean, do you need us to watch it?
No, I'm just saying. No, you shouldn't watch it. It's not worth it.
Oh my God.
Well, then that's Dustin's take on Gossip Girl. It's not worth it.
I mean, it's fine.
Corn pudding, corn pudding. Corn. Let's just sing it. Just sing our way out. Let's just sing our way out of this.
Good, buddy.
Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.